Operational risk and the management of operational risks. Welcome to the Risk Management of Everything channel. On this channel, you will see videos on risk management and the application of risk management to diverse areas and sectors. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the notification button so you can be notified when we upload new videos. Thank you. This video discusses operational risk and the management of operational risks. In this video, you will understand the meaning of operational risk, types of operational risk, impacts of operational risk management, the benefits of operational risk management, how operational risk management works, operational risk management principles, operational risk management process, keys to reducing a firm's operational risk, and the 7-step approach to mitigate operational risk management. Now, let us start. What is operational risk? Operational risk is the possibility of business operations failing due to inefficiencies or breakdowns in a firm's internal processes, people, and systems. Human error and external events, such as regulatory changes, are common sources of such risk. The Basel Committee on Banking Supervision has described the operational risk as the risk of loss resulting from inadequate or failed internal processes, people, systems, or external events. As such, operational risk captures business continuity plans, environmental risk, crisis management, process systems, and operations risk, people-related risks and health and safety, and information technology risks. All these risks need to be managed, and the more sophisticated the approach to risk management, the more chance the business must thrive and grow. No business is immune to operational risk. At any time, in any business task or process, the risk may arise from internal process failures or gaps, human error, system failures, or external risks imposed by customers, suppliers, natural disasters, regulatory changes, or geopolitical shifts. Operational risk may include legal risks, risks to human capital and physical business assets, or risks to the bottom line of the business. Typically, strategic and reputational risks are not included in the definition of operational risk, but they may be adversely impacted when operational risks remain unchecked for too long. Operational risk relates to the production process. This includes the process itself, the asset base, the people within any project team, and the legal controls within which the organization operates. Operational risk can be defined as the risk of direct or indirect loss, resulting from inadequate or failed internal processes, people and systems or external events. Operational risk also effectively includes anything that can impact the organization's overall performance and ability to create value. Operational risk, therefore, includes events such as mistakes or missed opportunities. The primary element of operational risk management is that the organization's control, monitoring and assurance activities should be based on a comprehensive business risk assessment that identifies and ranks risks by their significance to the company. In determining significance, the risks must be evaluated in the likelihood and impact on the organization. It is this latter aspect of the impact that needs to be well defined. Traditional measures have focused on the financial value or the potential for injury. Although these aspects must be considered, the primary consideration is how the risk impacts the firm's strategic objectives. The process of operational risk management includes the product itself, its suitability for market demand, marketing and sales and delivery. People risks include risks associated with human resources and staff development. Legal risks include contractual issues, together with statutory obligations and liability. Types of operational risk. Operational risk is associated with how businesses function internally and broadly cover the following categories. 1. Fraud, for example, bribery, misuse of assets and tax evasion. 2. Other criminal activity, for example, data theft and hacking. 3. Workplace policies and safety, for example, discrimination, staff health and safety. 4. Products and business practice, for example, product defects and market manipulation. 5. Physical assets, for example, vandalism, natural disasters, and equipment maintenance. 6. Business disruption, for example, utility downtimes and IT system failures, and 7. Process management, for example, accounting errors, data entry errors, and non-reporting. These risks present varying threat levels to business, from a minor inconvenience to potentially putting its very existence in jeopardy. The company should not underestimate the potential impacts of operational risk. Impacts of operational risk. If operational risks materialize, they may cause significant damage to a business, including outright loss, for example, costs of dealing with system failure and processing error. Regulatory overhead, for example, costs of audits and mandated investigations, and reputational damage, for example, arising from fraudulent activity and unfair practices. Contrary to other types of business risks, operational risks are not typically revenue-driven or willingly incurred. Some organizations accept them as an unavoidable cost of doing business. However, an organization can reduce its risk exposure and operating costs by developing a sound operational risk management strategy for its business. Operational risk management. Operational risk management is a way to get a holistic view of a company's risk footprint throughout the supply chain, and everyone across the organization has a role to play in making an organization's safety culture the best it can be. Operational risk management is a methodology for organizations looking to put real oversight and strategy into place when it comes to managing risks. Every business faces circumstances and changes in their situation that can be perceived as presenting varying levels of risk to that business, from minor inconveniences to potentially putting its existence in jeopardy. Operational risk management is a continual process of assessing risks and implementing relevant controls that lead to either acceptance, mitigation, or avoidance of risk. It is, however, necessary to understand the nature of a business and associated risks to ensure sound operational risk management. This understanding will help the organization identify, assess, monitor, and adequately control or mitigate the risks. To achieve organizational, operational risk goals, companies must work together to mitigate risk, and that includes the need for 1. Corporate leaders make safety part of their value structure by initiating and driving a safety culture throughout the organization. 2. Engineers to apply inherently safe design principles. 3. Maintenance engineers to verify isolations while reliability engineers maintain asset uptime. 4. Operators to start up, shut down and respond to abnormal conditions. 5. Procurers, suppliers, and transporters to understand their contribution to delivering and managing quality spare parts, materials and services that prevent the loss of containment. Operational risk management has evolved to become much more technologically advanced, which has led to the concept of integrated risk management, IRM. Integrated risk management is where software and technology work together to help organizations predict where their most significant risks might be while connecting different risk mitigation areas through cloud technology. Integrated risk management can also offer companies prescriptive advice to determine the leading indicators to help them mitigate incidents before they occur. Corporate leaders must create a culture that makes operational risk management mitigation strategy a crucial part of their corporate value proposition. Doing so will help firms to keep their people safe, their products sustainable, and their operations productive. Effective operational risk management can also help a business organization to 1. Prevent unexpected operational loss. 2. Cut compliance or auditing costs. 3. Detect unlawful activities, and 4. Minimize exposure to future risks. Benefits of operational risk management. Operational risk management is beneficial to business organizations. Operational risk management is an essential step for every company that is looking to avoid potentially damaging issues. Benefits of operational risk management include 1. Improvement of the reliability of business operations. 2. Improvement of the effectiveness of the risk management operations. 3. Strengthening of the decision-making process regarding the management of risks. 4. Reduction in losses caused by poorly identified risks. 5. Early identification of unlawful activities. 6. Lower compliance costs. 7. Reduction in potential damage from future risk. Show operational risk management works. The first stage of any operational risk management strategy is understanding the nature of a business and its risks. Manage a company that runs water ski lessons. The business will be susceptible to risks different from that of a company that creates technology for vending machines. Worrying about risks that are not related to a business amount to a waste of time. There are 3 levels of operational risk management that an organization can adopt. 1. In-depth, as the name suggests, this is the kind of risk management that we would all be undertaking in an ideal world, as it will deliver the best results and practically makes risk a thing of the past, not wholly because not every risk is foreseeable. 2. Deliberate, this is still not a panic station in the world of risk management but is undertaken at various stages during the life cycle of a project or a business and can come in the form of routine safety checks or performance reviews. 3. Time critical, this kind of operational risk management often requires urgent attention. During operational change, it is usually done when there is a limited time to act before the potential consequences of unknown risks start manifesting. Operational risk management principles. 4 essential principles govern all actions associated with operational risk management. The 4 principles of operational risk management apply to all tasks and operations at all levels of responsibility within organizations. 1. Do not accept unnecessary risk. Unnecessary risk has no commensurate return regarding benefits or opportunities. Everything involves and implies risks. The most logical choice for accomplishing an operation should meet the minimum acceptable requirements. The corollary to this axiom is accept necessary risk, which is required to complete the operation or task successfully. 2. Make risk decisions at the appropriate level. Anyone can make a risk decision. However, the appropriate decision maker is the person who can allocate the resources to reduce or eliminate the risk and implement controls. The decision maker must be authorized to accept levels of risk typical of the planned operation, including equipment wear and tear and loss of operational effectiveness. He should elevate decisions to the next level in the management chain by ensuring that the available control will not reduce residual risk to an acceptable level. 3. Accept risk when benefits outweigh the costs. Cost implications of all identified benefits should be assessed before accepting operational risks. For instance, high-risk endeavors may be undertaken when the benefits exceed the total costs. Balancing costs and benefits is a subjective process, and ultimately the balance may have to be arbitrarily determined by the appropriate decision maker. 4. Integrate operational risk management into planning at all levels. Risks can be easily assessed and managed at the planning stages of an operation. Subsequent changes can be made during the planning and implementation of operations. This is because both planning and operational risk management are continuous processes. Operational risk management process. There are 5 stages of operational risk management: risk identification, risk assessment, measurement and mitigation, and monitoring and reporting. Step 1, Risk identification. Operational risks must be identified to ensure effective management and control. Risk identification starts by understanding the organization's objectives. Risks represent anything that prevents the organization from attaining its objectives. The identification process should involve staff from all levels of the business to ensure that various backgrounds and experiences generate a cohesive result. Step 2, Risk assessment. Risk assessment is a systematic process for rating risks of likelihood and impact. The outcome from the risk assessment is a prioritized listing of known risks. The risk assessment process may be like the risk assessment done by an internal audit. The assessment step entails applying quantitative and qualitative measures to determine the level of risk associated with specific hazards. The risk assessment process defines the probability and severity of an accident resulting from the hazards based upon the exposure of humans or assets to the hazards. Step 3, Risk Mitigation. The risk mitigation step involves choosing a path for controlling the specific risks. The company should investigate specific strategies and tools that reduce, mitigate, or eliminate the risk. All risks have three components: the probability of occurrence, the severity of the hazard, and people and equipment's exposure to the risk. Effective control measures reduce or eliminate at least one of these. The analysis must consider the overall costs and benefits of remedial actions, providing choices if possible. In the operational risk management process, there are four options for risk mitigation: risk transfer, risk avoidance, risk acceptance, and risk control. 1. Risk transfer. Risk transfer entails shifting the risk to another organization. The two most common means for transferring are outsourcing and insurance. Outsourcing is a business practice in which a company hires a third party to perform tasks, handle operations, or provide services. It is worthwhile to emphasize that management cannot wholly transfer the responsibility for controlling risk when outsourcing. Insurance entails insuring against the risk, ultimately transferring some of the risk's financial impacts to an insurance company. A good example of transferring risk occurs with cloud-based software companies. When a company purchases cloud-based software, the contract usually includes a clause for data breach insurance. The purchaser is ensuring the vendor can pay for damages in the event of a data breach. The vendor should also have data center to provide system and organization control (SOC) reports, thereby reducing the likelihood of a data breach. 2. Risk avoidance. Avoidance prevents the organization from accepting a risk. Risk avoidance eliminates hazards, activities, and exposures that can negatively affect an organization's assets. For example, when choosing a vendor for a service, the organization could accept a vendor with a higher priced bid if the lower cost vendor does not have adequate references. While risk management aims to control the damages and financial consequences of threatening events, risk avoidance seeks to avoid compromising events entirely. While the complete elimination of all risk is rarely possible, a risk avoidance strategy is designed to deflect as many threats as possible to avoid the costly and disruptive consequences of a damaging event. A risk avoidance methodology attempts to minimize vulnerabilities that can pose a threat. Risk avoidance and mitigation can be achieved through policy and procedure, training and education, and technology implementations. 3. Risk acceptance. Risk acceptance is a concept where an individual or business identifies risk and renders it acceptable, thereby making no effort to reduce or mitigate it. The potential loss from the identified and accepted risk is considered bearable. By comparing the risk to the cost of control, management could accept the risk and move forward with the risky choice. Risk acceptance is a reasonable option for small and infrequent risks because they are not catastrophic or expensive, hence, there is no critical need to manage them. The impacts of such uncertainties are usually bearable and accepted as part of the operations and treated as they occur. 4. Risk control. Controls are processes of an organization to reduce the impact of a risk to increase the likelihood of meeting the corporate objectives. For example, installing software behind a firewall reduces the likelihood of hackers gaining access, while backing up the network reduces the impact of a compromised network. Step 4. Implement risk control. Once the risk mitigation choice decisions are made, the next step is implementation. Management must formulate a plan for applying the selected controls by ensuring the availability of resources, including materials and personnel, to facilitate a robust operational risk management framework. The control rationale, objective, and activity should be well documented to communicate and execute the controls. The controls implemented should focus on preventive control activities over policies. Step 5. Monitoring and review. Once controls are in place, The process must be monitored and reviewed regularly to ensure their effectiveness. Control monitoring involves testing the control for appropriateness of design, implementation, and operating effectiveness. Any exceptions or issues should be reported to the management to establish necessary action plans. Workers and managers at every level must fulfill their respective roles to ensure that the controls are well maintained. The operational risk management process continues throughout the life cycle of the organization, keys to reducing a firm's operational risk. The proposed mitigation strategy for most risks usually includes creating new business processes or adjustments to existing processes. Some businesses promulgate new policies and procedures by email in the immediate aftermath of an incident that impacts operational risk. In the crush of their daily tasks, even the most willing and motivated employees often forget the new rules. Businesses that have already embraced workflow automation can easily create new workflows, alter approval requirements, and create monitoring dashboards so that compliance with operational risk management procedures is ensured. The system enforces compliance with the new risk mitigation procedures. When defining new workflows to deal with specific operational risks, there are a few guiding principles to keep in mind. 1. Identify and divide tasks. List the necessary steps for eliminating a particular risk. If a single individual or role is currently performing them, divide the tasks so that one role performs the tasks and another role checks or approves the result of the task. 2. Assign tasks to the right people. It is good to assign tasks to the right employees to achieve a firm's objectives. The company must not be so aggressive in trying to level workloads and tasks assigned to employees who are not trained or unwilling to accept additional responsibilities. 3. Streamline and automate business processes. Operational risk can be reduced by automating business processes. The company should replace internalized judgment with data-driven business rules to eliminate significant sources of human error. 4. Brainstorm the exceptions. Many risk events stem from the unforeseen exception situation not examined during the initial business process design. Rush orders, sudden staff departures, receipt of substandard raw materials, missed steps during the business peak season, or product recalls are some of the accepted situations that may introduce operational risk if no formal processes are in place. 5. Measure performance and exceptions. Data is crucial because it provides businesses with the means of validating their initial risk assessment. Is the frequency and impact severity in line with what the company initially anticipated? Is the current mitigation strategy working, or does the company needs to tweak it? Are some individuals or departments better than others at reducing this risk, or should the company change its initial decisions? If the company is served with a lawsuit or face government review because of a particular risk, a firm's historical data is often crucial to minimizing fees, judgments, and fines. 6. Adopt an ongoing approach. Risk assessment is only meaningful in the context of the current business situation. Last year's risks and mitigation strategies may now work in today's world. The company should review its risk assessment regularly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. If the company needs to tighten or loosen some of its corporate rules or change its workflows, this can be accomplished quickly with the workflow automation tool. The 7-step approach to mitigate operational risk management. Operational risks impact the reputation and financial stability of a business significantly. Lack of robust risk mitigation strategy will result in various operational failures, leading to crises in organizational management. That is why many businesses invest in designing a robust risk management framework. Essentially, operational risks are best discovered, controlled, and mitigated using a 7-step approach. It supports multiple facets and can alleviate numerous risks concurrently. Here is the 7-step approach to mitigate operational risk management. 1. Task segregation. Effective segregation of tasks and duties reduces internal theft and risks related to fraud. This prevents an individual from taking advantage of the numerous aspects of transactions and business processes or practices. 2. Curtailing complexities in business processes. Reducing complexity in different business processes mitigates operational risks. Organizations can achieve this by curtailing manual activities and the number of people and exceptions during business processes. 3. Reinforcing organizational ethics. Creating strong organizational ethics is essential to mitigate operational risk and ensure a robust operational risks management framework. Organizational ethics can be reinforced by combining the workforce's values and principles with the organization's ideology. 4. The right people for the right job. Having the right people in the right jobs can reduce business process execution and skill and technology usage issues. Having the right people in the right jobs will also result in appropriate workforce utilization, adherence to timelines, enhanced quality, fewer errors, and process breakdowns. 5. Regular monitoring and evaluation. Business processes are more effective with well-designed performance indicators in place. Key performance indicators, KPIs, are critical for timely detection and mitigation of risks. Hence, the need for continuous monitoring and review to identify discrepancies and be proactive in managing them. 6. Periodic risk assessment. Periodic assessments of all operational risks ensure a robust operational risk management framework. It is imperative to be risk-ready by ensuring regulatory compliance, IT assets, skills, competencies, processes, and objective business decisions. 7. Look back and learn. Risk incidents and remedial activities employed in the past will help build effective strategies to counter future risks. Previous risk occurrences will help an organization to implement a more robust, proactive operational risk management framework. It also supports real-time amendments that suit the current operating scenario. Conclusion. Operational risk and risk management have been discussed in this video. Operational risk is the possibility of business operations failing due to inefficiencies or breakdown in internal processes, people, and systems. Human error and external events, such as regulatory changes, are familiar sources of such operational risk. If operational risks materialize, they can cause significant damage to a business. Operational risks can also impact the reputation and financial stability of a business significantly. Hence, it is essential to manage the operational risk exposure of a business effectively. Operational risk management is a continual process of assessing risks and implementing relevant controls that lead to either acceptance, mitigation, or avoidance of risk. I hope the video is educative and beneficial to you. Please post your comments below in the comments section. If this video has been educative and beneficial to you, then give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thank you for seeing the Risk Management of Everything videos. We love to hear from you. Please post your comments and questions in the comment section down below. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Risk Management of Everything channel, and press the notification button so you can be notified when we upload new videos. Thank you.